Hello, and welcome to another episode of For the Love of Sports. My name is Michael Rasile. This is a show where we get to talk about sports, we get to talk about business, and we get to talk about everything in between. Wherever you're listening, however you're listening, you know exactly what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to like and subscribe. You're supposed to give me a 5-star review on Apple. You're supposed to give me a 5-star review on Spotify. It's that easy, but more importantly, really awesome guest today. We have Kenny Vaccaro, former Texas Longhorn and NFL Safety, CEO of the Esports team G1, owner of the new fashion boutique down in Austin, Texas, Konnect. Kenny, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
Dude, it's a great day to be alive, isn't it?
Always
A good day to be alive, man. And I appreciate you getting up nice and early for me, just for little old me over here. So I appreciate that one a lot, man. And excited to get to talk to you, obviously, a little bit about football. More so about your entrepreneurial journey since then. But Kenny, the first question I have for everybody on the For the Love of Sports podcast is, why do you love sports so much?
Just from a young age, I was attracted to it. I don't know. My mom, me, my brothers, sisters, my family, we're always a sport family. Growing up in a small town, too, was a big attraction because there's not much to do, right? I remember just playing tackle the man with a football from 4 years old, right? And then just playing baseball outside or basketball, running track. So for me, it was just kind of an escape. It was a way for me to, kind of get away from everything, compete, have fun with my friends. Just always been involved in my life.
When did you realize that, like, oh wait, there's something here. I'm pretty damn good at this tackle the guy with the football thing.
I never really planned ahead, right? I never said I was going to go to the NFL. I never said I was going to go play for Texas. A lot of that's when I was young. A lot of it was just, I wanted to be an architect, or I wanted to be. My mom had me always studying. And I really took my grades serious, so I didn't plan for it, but I always excelled at sports, right? And it honestly wasn't until my sophomore year in high school, I hit a guy, I cracked his helmet, and it wasn't that exact moment, but it was kind of reflecting after the game. I was like, man, I might have a chance to go, play some college ball, and that's kind of the way that's how my mind processed everything. I never skipped steps, really. I never thought ahead.
One step at a time, man. That's the only way. That's the only way to do it. If you get too far ahead, things start to get a little confusing and convoluted. So there's another question that I ask everybody on the show that's specifically from Texas. And please,
okay,
I gotta know, Kenny, is Texas back?
I get this question all the time. No, we're not back.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man.
No, we look decent on paper right now. And if you're just counting on a guy that, we got Quinn Ayers, who just came in last year, hasn't played a snap. I always like to say hasn't pissed a drop, really, but has a lot of potential. That's where it starts, because the last couple of years, we ain't even had potential, right? So at least we got guys in the building that has potential. And obviously Arch Manning, his pedigree. It's a no-brainer. It's a start. We're not back, but it's a start to getting back. One guy can't save it, but one guy can influence another guy. And another guy, and another guy. And you have a bunch of guys, and that's when you get back. So
that's when you get back. I want Texas to be back. I'm not a Texas Longhorn fan, but I 100% want Texas to be back, because it's like the Yankees in baseball. Baseball's better when the Yankees are good. College football is better when Texas is good. I want to watch those games. They're always incredible.
It's the same as Dallas Cowboys. When they're sorry, It may mess up the whole NFL, just like Texas. It's just we have a unique, history in college football where we need to be back where we were, right? I don't know if it's the colors or just the history of winning, but it's a program that makes everything better, makes NCAA better, more enjoyable to watch when we're good. So
those colors on a nice fall day, man, there's something about it. I don't know what
burnt orange and white, man.
Right,
I don't
dude,
know.
it gets me.
It's like the only time those colors are good to me is Texas, really. But nah, I'm excited to watch this year. It's my first time I can be kind of close to the team and really analyze and not have to be worried about my own football stuff. I can really just, break it down. I had the chance to do Longhorn Network for the spring game. Don't know if I'll have time to do it, full time in the fall, but just to be able to sit there with my son and watch games from a fan perspective, I'm kind of excited about it because I haven't done it in a long time.
There you go, man. Well deserved. Your football career was pretty incredible, man. So well deserved. Now you get to just enjoy it, man. Sit back, relax, enjoy it. Now you got a lot of other stuff going on, right? That's why we're here. We're going to talk about the esports stuff that you got going on. We're going to talk about just being an entrepreneur in general. So one thing I want to understand is obviously the NFL. It does a lot of good things for a lot of good people, right? Obviously, you make a couple bucks. It's one of the weird professions that everyone can kind of look up online and see how many dollars you made, which is good and bad in certain situations. But I'm curious, from an entrepreneurial standpoint, what lessons did you learn from being in the NFL that has led you to become potentially even more a better entrepreneur just from what you learned by playing the sport of football?
I think I already am. Honestly, I feel like this part of my life, I feel like this is kind of where I was supposed to be. It's a weird feeling. I was telling people I'm kind of in a different mode that I haven't necessarily ever tapped into, even in sports. But for me, I never get why guys, you sacrifice so much in sports, right? You pay attention to all the details. You're on an itinerary. You're punctual. You make sure you eat right, sleep right, all these different things. Then when you leave the NFL, and you want to go onto your next venture, all those things, those disciplines and the sacrifice, they just stop. I just do the same thing in business now, where I'm up early. If it's 5 a.m., 5:30, whatever it may be, I'm getting up just like I did in the NFL. I'm starting my day before everybody else. I'm beating the competition, whatever competition I make up in my head for that day, right? It's business, right? I just to the exact detail, when I'm talking to people that work for me or everything, I want it done the right way, just like my coach wanted the play ran the right way, or they wanted the defensive scheme ran the right way. I think a lot of times guys when they walk away from the game, it's just all right, let's just kick it. All those, values and things that we learn in the NFL, they just go away. I turned it up a notch. I took that and put it right into, all the things I got going on. So I don't have no key answers for why I didn't go to business school. I didn't do this and that. I literally just put in the work every single day, just like I did in the NFL. Obviously, being in the NFL, you meet a lot of people, make a lot of connections, and being able to utilize those. And I'm not talking about use people. I'm talking about strategically move chess pieces around the board. That way you can, set yourself up for other opportunities. So, there's no special answer. I don't know. I every day when I wake up, I'm excited. It's a chance to, it's an opportunity. I treat it the same way in business.
And I think you bring up two really important points, right? One is, hey, you're an NFL athlete. How many people want to meet an NFL athlete? No one's clamoring to meet me over here, but people are saying, Kenny Vaccaro? Oh yeah, I know him. I watched him on Sundays. Of course I want to meet that guy. And as you said, you make those connections and you strategically know how to move those chess pieces around the board. I think that's so many people don't take advantage of that. Where does this come from? Why did you start to take advantage? Was there a mentor in the locker room that helped you with that? Was that from your mom? Where did that idea come from that you decided to take advantage?
I don't have a mentor. My mom doesn't know anything about business. I just did it myself. I don't know. I just, be good to people. And when I say take advantage, it's not it's just I'm just be a good person.
I know exactly what you mean.
Just being a good person, meeting people, putting people on. I've always put everyone on around me. I've had so many people around me that I've helped, change their lives. That that stuff comes back, man. I truly believe in that stuff. That type of energy, type of karma. You do people the right way. That stuff comes back. But no, I didn't have a blueprint for it. You just got to be. I don't know. It's a weird feeling. You just got to be in it. I was reading an article on Odell Beckham the other day. He was on Entrepreneur magazine, and he's basically turned his deal flow, which is those strategic chess pieces, right, into a partnership with I think it was a big bank, huge, massive fund, because he gets deals that only other people can get. Now, I'm not saying I'm Odell Beckham, but I'm saying I've had 3, 4, 5 deals in the past 2 years that cap tables that you're not getting on unless you know these people or unless you have a relationship. And that's kind of the stuff I'm talking about as far as investing in entrepreneurial opportunities. Imagine him. He probably has 50 deals that are, the company doesn't even need your money, right? They just want you on the cap table because of who you are. It's pretty much a guaranteed, this isn't a 100X type of deal. This is like a 5, 6X, right? And it's guaranteed, basically. You have no business they have no business allowing you to put your money into that investment. But the fact that they want you on your cap table, makes their company look a little bit better. They throw you on there, and they basically just hand you some more money. So I started understanding when I was dead poor when I was younger. They always said the rich get richer, and that's one of the aspects that I started peeping at, like, what that means.
Take advantage of it, man. Again, like the opportunities are coming to you. You're a big karma guy. I'm a big karma guy. I believe good things happen to good people. So 100%. And if you keep doing the right thing, you keep helping others, as you said, it's going to come back to you in many different ways. And so I am curious, right? So you become an entrepreneur back in December, if I'm not mistaken, right? Is when you finally you became the CEO of G1, which is right behind you for anyone watching on the video. I guess where does this love of esports come from, and where did this idea of saying, yeah, I think I could run a team. Let's see what happens.
I mean, it's a long story. December was just kind of our first time we did a press release, right? I've never had PR. And if you don't do PR in this world, like social media, especially with the algorithms of Instagram and Twitter now, they won't show anybody your stuff unless you pay, right? So, I hired the PR team with Kelly, who you talked to. They did a press release, but G1 actually started in 2020. It was amazing start, right? I was on Soar Gaming, their content org, while I was playing in the NFL. I was doing more on the gaming side. I decided to leave. I didn't like the way they were treating the players. Like, nobody was getting paid. They were using our likeness, for their own, to monetize their own money, make their own money. So I mean, literally, I was part of the Destiny team at that time. It was a bigger game. It's not as popular now, but I basically told the guys that everybody on the team, like, hey, I'm probably going to leave. I'd love to start my own org. I've always loved gaming since I was a little kid. Would y'all want to go? Like, is it like, this is what I'm going to do? Like, and obviously they had the reservations, right? They didn't know if it was the next, token NFL player just throwing his money into a bank account to start another business. But I had already, pretty much proven myself the year prior, because I wanted to originally start G1 18, 19, and I kind of asked around, and my one of my business partners, Hunter Swinson, said, like, hey man, I know like who you are. I know you love gaming. I know you're authentic as it gets, but they don't know yet. So we pretty much started kind of like a respect tour, I'd say, and I started attacking, the game and practicing just like I did the NFL till I got good enough where I could, beat the best players in the game. It's kind of earned that respect, right? In the gaming world, it's different. You got to be in the community. You got to earn their respect. So, but pretty much climbed up the ladder all the way to the top. Not saying I was the best, but I was. Some of the guys that are in my org now, I used to, beat their ass like on a daily. So that just gives you like a reference of like where I got to. Some of the guys I signed. So after I got done with that, like, right, then it was time to ask the guys, like, hey, I want to do this my way on my own. I want to, do it this way, right? Put the gamer first, the gamer before anything, because that goes into the name G1, gamers first. I was a gamer like way before I ever picked up a football or anything. Me and my brother, we were attracted to, video games from a young age, and almost like an obsession. My mom had to like strip us from it, right? Going back to like RuneScape, like that way back in the day.
Yep, me too. I used to play that.
Just finished 99 Slayer 2 days ago, and I same account from way back when, and then we just recently signed Otoblock, probably the best PvP player in the world in RuneScape. Pretty much the first player ever signed that plays RuneScape. He's been my favorite streamer for so long, and I told Kevin, I told my boys one day, I'm gonna sign him one day. So it's crazy how all that comes to life. But yeah, from a very, very young age, I loved it. I can remember all the way back to like Sega Genesis, right? Like playing Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, Super Nintendo. And obviously the first PlayStation was Transcendent. I remember playing like Digimon and Crash Bandicoot.
Crash, yep. Spyro? Did you get a little Spyro in there?
Shoot. And then it was Nintendo 64. You had the Golden Eye. There's like you could just feel it, right? And played every Pokemon on, Game Boy Color. And the original Game Boy, they didn't have any color. Then you got your Zeldas, right? And like, it's not like I just played first-person shooters. No, I truly love all types, whether it's, MMOs, role-playing games, first-person shooters. I love the whole, everything about it, right? So, yeah, I'd always been attracted to it. It's just in sports, if you want to be a good athlete, you want to be good at anything in life, you have to kind of like, I don't want to say sell your soul, but like to make it to the top, to get to what the greats do, you have to sacrifice a lot, and almost like sever those like nerves in your brain that they make you even think about anything else but sports, right? That's what the great ones do. That's what Tom Brady says it all the time. Like, I've had to make so many sacrifices. I've had to not see my family. I've had to, sacrifice time that I could have with my kids to be, the greatest player ever. And that just is what it is. So for me, like, that it was the same way. I wanted to be, a pro's pro. I wanted to be, one of the best. But as soon as I stepped off that field, all that creative purpose, all those things that I had, loved and valued as a kid came right back to me. So I just got to work, and that's why I can do what I do every day, running pretty much 3 businesses from here in Austin, Texas.
It's incredible, man. There's 24 hours a day. We were talking about it before. It just depends on how you want to use them, and you get up nice and early to get all your work done. And running 3 businesses is difficult. Yeah. But as you said, you took everything that the NFL taught you, and it's so interesting because so many people don't. Like, you keep getting up early, you keep working out, you keep keeping your mentals good, right? You do all of those things, and it's clearly put you on that path. And even as you said, you turn it up a notch. Like, let's keep it going.
And it's the same thing with esports. Like, these guys, especially Halo, we have a pro Halo team. It's 4 players. Well, there's 4 people in the sector day. They got to communicate. I had to communicate. They got to count on each other. I had to count on each other, right? There's camaraderie. Well, if there's camaraderie, you play better. These guys play better if they like each other. There's film study. Well, there was film study in the NFL, right? Like, it's the same stuff. I was watching film with one of our guys yesterday, like, and just the talks and the accountability and all the things that make a good athlete, a good teammate, whatever you want to call it. It's the same thing in esports. And I'm kind of taking a different approach with it. And I've been telling my guys, like, hey, you're a pro. Like, the reason why you're a pro is because you make the hard things look easy, and people can't do what you do. Like, people can say whatever they want about gaming, but there's a reason why people are better. Like, there's like this guy, and then there's this guy, and one of them's way better and one of them's not. It's not like one of those things where everybody's good, right? It just is what it is. So that stigmatism is starting to change, right? The world's starting to see it. Esports is getting bigger and bigger. It's only a matter of time before it's ran operationally like an NFL team. I'm already starting those steps and going to do that. And I'm not saying I'm going to take the bad out of NFL and sports for me, throw it out, but all the good things that I've learned, the discipline, all the things it takes to be successful in the sport, inject that into esports, and we're already kind of doing it. It's just there's been a stigmatism for a long time of laziness. Gaming won't do anything for you, but the world's changed, man. Content is king. I would advise, and I'm not saying, like, don't go to college. I'm saying, like, for 90% of the people, unless you're a doctor or engineer, it's a waste of time. I feel bad for teachers, right? Go to school forever, and then they get out, and they have to get another job, basically, because they're not paying enough. But you can be a streamer. Start streaming when you're 18. Stream every day until that same person that went to college for teaching gets out of college. See who's making more money.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
100%,
literally,
man.
Even if you don't even have a personality, you're gonna people love to watch other people do things. Mm-hmm. That's why Ryan's toys. That's why he's making millions of dollars opening toys. The kids don't even want to play with the toys no more. They want to watch somebody open the toys. Mm-hmm. Kids don't even want to game anymore. They want to watch somebody else game, right? And obviously, I'm not saying completely, but I'm saying, like, there's so much opportunity in this world. It's not the same model as it was, go to college, go get a job, have a family, live a good life, die. It's way different now. There's no limit. You know what I'm saying?
It is, man. I love it. No limit. I love the way you put that, too. And I think it's really important for people to understand that. Yeah, as you said, 90% of the people, right? Like, college is better. The education aspect was one thing. I learned a lot about myself in college, right? I grew up as like a human being. Outside of the education, I learned more 6 months out of college than I did in the 4 years that I was there. And it's not even close, right? It's ridiculous.
People think I'm freaking got a master's in business. I taught myself how to raise around, how to take a company from an LLC to a C Corp. Like that, it didn't take months and months of time to
YouTube
years,
videos, right?
YouTube. That's people are wasting years in mathematics. Google it. You can Google any equation now, and these algorithms are built, they'll answer any question in depth from multiple sites. So like I just think sometimes people get simple-minded and don't want to bend like what's been the same type of hierarchy and like the way we did things for so long. It's like it ain't the same no more. A lot of this stuff's just like history. Just Google it. Like what happened in 18. It's cool. And I get you want to know your history, right? You want to know, how this country was built, blah blah, like whatever. But there's a lot of stuff like that, like the Battle of 1635, and like you freaking stayed up all night studying it when you could have been like, I don't know, like making your stream look better, or you could have been, strategically plotting out how you're gonna roll out all your YouTube videos on your channel, like instead of wasting so much time. So I'm not saying, you can quote me on that, I'm not saying education is important. I'm saying we need to optimize our time better as Americans, as human beings.
Yes, I'm never going to do calculus ever again, except for that one time I did it in college. That's it.
Just study.
Full stop.
Waited to the last minute because you probably hung out with your friends every other day, and then now you're miserable, up all night, and you just go to class and you still get like a 70 because you just barely started studying. All for what? For everybody forget. You probably forgot it all just like I did. I don't know any 100%. Math. I can't even help my 10-year-old right now. I don't know how to write it out. You know what I'm saying? Like I know math, I'm smart, but I don't know how to I forgot like the division, right? Like the exact way to like put everything. I'm like, man, it's crazy.
So I am curious, Kenny, like what exactly goes into being the CEO of an esports team? Because I think that's kind of ambiguous to a lot of people, and they don't really understand, right? Are you playing the games? Are you doing the streaming? Like, talk to me a little bit about what exactly goes into running the entire organization.
Moly. Where do we start? I mean, yeah, and that's why I've started recording and kind of rolling out content, because people don't get to see the business side of it. They think I haven't played the game in 3-4 months. I can't. We have such an opportunity right now to take our org to the next level that like I'm on business calls every day. I'm in sponsorship meetings. I'm negotiating, deals. I'm trying to build different companies within G1 that can create different revenue streams to increase our top line revenue. I'm talking to people's moms because they're struggling with something. I just helped one of our Halo players purchase a house. I'm watching film with the players, making sure, their life is good on and off, the field or the controller or the desk or whatever you want to call it. I'm in the process of raising a round. So you got to have those meetings as far as, who are you going to be your partners? Which strategic person do we want, to be in this next round that he might attract somebody else? Are you making plays right now that'll set up the future? I design merch drops. So right now we got 2 merch drops in the pipeline where I'm working with my our designer on the next drop, which will be, the next month or so. Then I got to plan out how we're going to roll that out. What's going to be the marketing strategy? How are we going to, where we're going to shoot the video at? Are we going to use, traditional marketing? Or are we going to be a little bit different this time? All these things, play into it. Then there's the play of like, how are we telling our story? How are we going to captivate our fans, telling our why, and keeping those same core principles and things held at, at a premium is the way you have to build a company. And I think people slip up because they don't. They let shit slip through the cracks, and you just can't. You got to be able to do all these things that I just said and still hold your standard high, right? There's lots. I can go into just every day right now. I'm fixing up, optimizing the internet. Our guys got a super HCS super in August. I forgot the date, but the first weekend of August, $200,000 tournament, for Halo. All the guys are going to come in, so I got to get the boot camp ready. This is just G1. This ain't all the other businesses. This is why I wake up at 5:30 or 5 a.m.
No, absolutely, man. It's incredible, right? Like, and that's, I appreciate you kind of, obviously that was just a couple minutes of what you do, and I'm sure there's a lot more, and each of those you could dive even deeper into. But I think it's important for people to understand, because I totally agree with the statement you said before. Like, people think gaming is just kind of a waste of time and it's fun, and I think it's coming to light more, but the general population doesn't have any idea what goes into an esports team or what goes into running an esports team, and I appreciate you kind of just sharing some of that, because I think it gives people perspective. Exactly.
Yeah, nobody's ever told the story. We can keep going. I'm liking this conversation, but
hell yeah,
nobody shows the ups and downs, the valleys. They show like the guys just competing. Like, if you do see anything on esports, it's just 4 guys sitting down at a desk staring at it, right? And that's kind of it. It looks fun. There's like a stadium, kind of. And then there's guys cheering, but you don't really get to see this right here, like in the trenches, building it, Like it's a honestly though, like to me, it's just like it's a dream come true. It doesn't even feel like work. Like I get to go to work, right? I don't think about having to go to work. I wake up excited. I wake up. The one thing I like about business that I do sports is I can work hard every single day, eat right, sleep, take care of my body, train the hardest worker in the world, tear my ACL the first day. But business, I mean, God forbid, like you get struck by lightning or hit by a car or whatever, like you get what you put in. Like if I outwork every single person, I'm most likely going to get, reap those benefits. And it's just, it is what it is. That's my whole life has been as an athlete. There's always a what if. Like you could still, I don't know, trip, roll your ankle and you're out for 6 weeks, and now your contract gets messed up. Now you don't make as much money that next year going into free agency because you missed 6 games, or I don't know, 2 people go down in the secondary, while you're playing football, and now they say you have a down season because you're playing with some guy that we just signed off the street that you barely know his name, and then you're covering for a corner that it's a complete liability. There's a lot of other factors that go into sports, and especially football, that determine your success. People don't understand. A lot of stars got to align to be like Aaron Donald. You can't never get hurt. Go to a team that's gonna develop you. Have players around you that's gonna highlight your strengths. Have a good coach. I know, and I just gave you one example. He's kind of a unicorn. He might have been good in any system, but there's guys like that where they don't go to this certain spot. They're never found. I don't know if freaking, is it Greg Rome? Who was with is it Brian Dable that was with Josh Allen?
Bills.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like if he doesn't develop at that first year, it wasn't looking too good. There's a lot of bust, and this kid can't do this, kid can't do that coming out after 2 years really. And then that third year, now he's MVP. He comes in, he develops them. So there's a lot of factors that play into sports. There's not as many factors that play into business, and I think that's one of the main things that I enjoy is I know I feel like I have some type of control on the success and the outcome. And as a CEO, I definitely have control on where G1 is going to go and how far I'm willing to take it.
I love it, man. I think that's incredible, and I think it's a really interesting parallel that you're drawing there, right? Because as you said, like
Is it
you
not
can.
True though?
It's 100% true.
Yeah.
I love hearing it from your perspective again, from being in the NFL and even saying like, hey, I can day one, I could be I could be the hardest worker there, tear my ACL, and it doesn't matter. None of it matters.
Doesn't matter. Think about how many guys that have done this. That just like Derrick Rose, man, one of my favorite players ever.
Yep.
Just hurts his knee, and then he gets hurt again. People are like, oh, he's injury prone, like blah blah blah. He can't control that. Like I hate when people say a guy just can't stop getting hurt. You think he's trying to tear his ACL? He's trying to get hurt. It's the most annoying thing. And like I wish it would just be a different phrase. Like his luck wasn't on his side or something. Like instead of like, he's injury prone, he's fragile, and they start doing memes. Like it's just like that's the one thing I enjoy about the other side is like you don't get that. Either you can't. The big eyes sky don't lie. You either put the work in or you don't. Like it is what it is, and I've learned a lot since stepping away from the game. That's one of the main things that I've truly valued on the other side. Other than getting to see my family, is like there's not as many what ifs. Like go do, find a way, and that's it. Right?
Yeah, and as you said, you're not even if you tear your ACL, you're out for a couple days because you got to have surgery, and then you're right back. You can still take those phone calls, still answering emails. None of it matters.
Sports, you just can't play. Like there's no like if I tear my ACL tomorrow, playing working out, I'm back in. Like I might have my laptop all the way up until the anesthesia gets put in my vein, and then I can when I wake up, grab my laptop again and be right back on it. I could do this exact same call in a hospital bed. The only time I waste is when I'm doing surgery, and I can wake up and do it again, right? So that's just the difference.
And so we've been talking about it a little bit here, and I alluded to it in the beginning. You're now the owner of a new fashion boutique in Austin, Texas called Konnect. Yeah. Where, sports and fashion, it seems like over the last 10, 15, 20 years has been huge. The interconnection. Like were you always into fashion as you were in esports, or was that something that kind of came along while being in the NFL?
I was very artistic person. I was very, I love design. I love, like I said, I wanted to be an architect. I love putting, piecing things together to, make a project or a picture or a drop come to life. I was dead poor growing up, so obviously I didn't have any fashion or designer. But I saw my friends that would have the new Jordans or the, back in the day it was the Iversons. I remember they came out, and I was just like, man, like one day I hope I'm gonna hopefully I can afford those one day, right? I remember my mom bought me the Walmart version. They're like the Rawlings version of the Iversons, and I was so thankful at the time because at least they matched, right? But no, I've always as soon as college was the first time I ever had like a little bit of money, but even then though I had to starve just to sacrifice to look good, right? Buy some nice jeans, and then might have to borrow one of my teammates' Bevo Buck card for a week. So yeah, I've always had an interest in it. It's just like I said, I don't really plan ahead, and the opportunity kind of aligned. I actually am one of the majority owners in our gym Kollective, so it's really G1, Kollective, and Konnect. The reason why I can do all these things, it's all in the same building. So the Konnect, instead of putting a cafe, or a protein shop or a traditional cheap merch apparel in the front of a gym, I said, I talked to the other CEO of Kollective, one of my partners in G1 too, and then I was like, hey, let me do a fashion boutique. Let's break the mold. Let's be a disruptor. Let's think outside the box. Let's do things that people just don't do. And he's like, cool, run it, and then I immediately get to working, right? I pretty much design out the whole layout of the shop. I put a really cool piece in there that reminded me of my childhood. I put a power line that runs, from one wall all the way across. And, usually when you're growing up, you see Chuck Taylors or just old shoes. But I actually took all my, pretty much the holy grail of the shoe game and threw them up there. So I sacrificed, a lot. I don't even know the value, but somewhere, over $50,000 plus of just shoes. Like you see the resale game on StockX or Go. Like it's crazy right now. Like some of these shoes untouched, they're going for, Dior ones are going for, 10, 15,000. So it might be more than that on that power line. But brought in some strategic pieces, partnered with, a guy that, has the ability to get, shoes in quantity. Partnered with one of my other friends that was pretty much my personal shopper in the NFL. His name's Jake White, out of Michigan. He has connections with a lot of designer brands that if you don't have those connections, you just can't, get the product. And like I said, it's all about those chess pieces, right? Put them in place. Good friend of mine, he's had my card basically on file. Never once swiped it for some extras. People can just screw you over, right? For me, it's about loyalty, about trust. I'd rather have somebody less qualified that I can trust, somebody overqualified that I just don't know, right? So he was a no-brainer. Worked with me since my rookie year. If I need some clothes, he sends me pictures every week. I say, let me get this, and this. Swipes my cart, overnights it to me. Never had a problem. If he messes up the size, such a good person, he'll send me the right size, and then let me whenever I have time to send him back the bigger size, just do that. So, put him in place. Actually bringing on one of my best friends from since preschool to come in and kind of be the operations manager. So right now, strategically, everybody that's working for the company, for the Konnect, I see those as people that can one day go run their own store. I'm not going to hire, a kid or a young, teenager or young adult just because it's cheaper. I rather pay more for somebody, that can, do it on their own, because one day we're going to scale. And then what? We're going to go hire somebody from the outside to go run a store, or do we keep it homegrown, and cultivate and create culture and curate, a standard within our own people that they can, now go out into the world and facilitate that in different locations. So that's the way we're building it. It's a struggle. It's a little bit harder right now because we don't have as many people working. So we have to be working all the time, basically, because we don't have 10 people on payroll making, minimum wage. I'm just not doing it. I don't think that's the way you build business. I think people do that because they want to save some money and they want to go fast. I'd rather go with my people and go slower. So the plan's going well. I mean, I got that personally from Gary Keller. He owns Keller Williams Realty, real estate. He's worth, they're worth billions of dollars, right? And he had like a private speaking with like me and a few other Texas football players. I don't know why I was there. I had no business being there, but that's part of that, like the chess moves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somehow I wheeled my way in there, right? And sat down and got to listen to him talk about business. And two things I got for him. One, he's so competitive. He treated business, when he went to a meeting or he was, across the table from another real estate guy, he took it personal. Like he looked literally the way he was talking reminded me of like Michael Jordan, The Last Dance, how like, I'm going to beat this guy. I'm going to have the most sales this year. I'm going to, buy out the market. Like it was the craziest thing because you think, it's going to be this humbling speech about, gratitude. But I mean, some of that was, right. He said he went from, he went down, he has his ups and downs, but right now, the reason why he's kept his empire so, prominent is he takes it personal. He competes in business. So that was part of my, inspiration once I stepped away from the game. But also too, he said, people ask him all the time, how did you build, this empire with all these employees? And he said, my top five people, the first 5 people, whether they're your brother, your best friend or whoever it is, right? My first 5 people that work for the company were literally a mirror image of me and the things I believe in and the exact, culture I want to build. And those 5 choose another 5. But if you let one of them slip through the cracks, that's when there starts to be breaks in the foundation, right? That's when the foundation that's laid, when they pour the the cement after years and years, all of a sudden there's cracks. That's kind of how I compare it. Is somewhere along the way, the wrong person gets put in the wrong position, and then that leads to a virus or a disease that starts to spread through your company. And as you get bigger, obviously it's harder to control that, right? That's why a lot of times companies get big, they say they go corporate. They're not as cool as they used to be, right? Well, all corporate is they got so big that the quality, the standard, the culture, some of those things that made that company successful, they start to slip a little bit. So that's why you see the cracks starting to happen. The best companies, they got one crack and they patch it up immediately, right? Like they call the handyman and say, let's get this crack fixed right here.
With running so many businesses, isn't that really
Sorry,
difficult?
I was ranting.
No, you're good, man. I appreciate it. It's a good rant. Like I think it's awesome. And again, this is a masterclass in understanding how an athlete has been able to take a successful NFL career and turning into a successful entrepreneur. How are you with so many businesses? Do you ever, again, you wake up early. I'm going to get to your time management here in a little bit. Does it ever feel like you're running yourself a little thin and understanding that you have to make sure that every single person is in line and every single person, or do you just trust and you have so much trust in the people that you're bringing in that they can mirror that culture and you can ensure that they're going to do what you need to do for them?
Not necessarily. I'm still trying to. I know the people. I know I trust them. Right. That's all I need at first. But the problem I've run into these past couple months, however long, is nobody can do what I do. And I'm not saying that in a cocky way or confident way at all. I'm just saying like it just ain't the same. And I told my wife all the time, she's like, you bring all these people to do this and that and you're paying them this and like why can't they? And I'm like, they just can't do what I do. They can't have these they can't pitch to a sponsor the way I do it. They can't design the merch the way I do it. And I think that's what, a lot of times being able to do things that other people can't, that's valuable, right? And I don't see it as that, but I'm starting to notice that, like, I just got to sacrifice, for the people around me. That my biggest motivation is the people around me. I just if I think about my family, my Halo team, my other founders, that they're counting on me, like that's all the motivation I need, right? So, it's been tough. I am spread thin. I do need a 2-week vacation, but at the same time, though, I have I can see, the light at the end of the tunnel. The vision is becoming clearer and clearer every day. It's starting to, unravel. It's starting to paint itself. And I don't want to take my foot off the pedal. I'm enjoying it too much. I'm still a dad. I still, a great dad. I coach my sons. flag football team, one of the best teams in the world, in the country, the world. You want to say we won Worlds last year. He's 10. I have a 7-year-old. I have a 23-month, 22-month, and then I just had a newborn baby. And
congrats.
And there's sacrifices, right? We had the baby. I'm up all night. I'm filming a video to announce Otoblock, the RuneScape guy I was telling you about, till 12:30, and then I go home. And then 2 hours later, it's time to go to the hospital for Camden, our youngest that was born. And then 8 hours later, I got to come back to work. And there's a lot of ups. Like we fight about it, and I just told her, like, these sacrifices are, like, these are plays that I'm setting up for the future, for our kids. And she still gives me hell about it, but everybody will see one day. So yeah, it's the time management part, like you said, is just don't waste a second. Like, truly, like, I just don't. I don't know. Probably not sustainable, but I don't.
I don't know, man. Like, as you said, you enjoy waking up every day. You get to go to work. You get to run this team and the gym, and you get to enjoy the fashion aspects of your life. Yep. I am curious, though, man. Like, what's a day in the life at Kenny Vaccaro? Like, what? Shoot. Talk to me. You wake up at 5. You're on here at this 8. I took up a little bit of your time. We're almost done here, so I appreciate it again.
I mean, like you said, wake up early, get a workout in. Start listening to, music that gets my mind in the right place, just to make sure I'm in that mode right when I step in this building, because that's just the type of, detail I need, to be able to do what I do. I got to be, my mind's got to be in the right space. I usually get here, pick up the place. There's a lot of wires, and I've been ordering so much stuff for the G1 facility that, like, you can kind of see it. See all this stuff, dude. I'm gonna put all these wires together and kind of organize everything. We got all that stuff in from Amazon, because right now we're getting all the product we need to build out a pretty much a digital media company, because the content we can do is some of the best in the world. So why not own that in house? I've been focused on that, and then I'll get to meetings from about 9 to. Shoot, sometimes they go on to 1. Sometimes it's just 2 or 3 meetings till 12. But usually 9 to 12, I'm in meetings. As soon as I get out those meetings, I'm talking to our editors. I'm talking to my brother about, how we're strategically going to roll out content. Sometimes I'll have meetings with other founders. We'll have a G1 leadership meeting, G1 sponsorship meeting, and then a G1 strategy meeting. So, like, sponsors, obviously, one of the biggest revenue streams for an esports is sponsorship dollars. So we make sure we always stay on top of that. Leadership obviously is like the whole overseeing the whole company, whether it's content, whether it's our esports team, contracts, the whole thing. We have that meeting, and then strategy is just our plan to raise, right? Our pitch deck, our plan for the future. How are we going to spend this amount of money? How are we going to save this amount of money? And what's our plans for, 5 to 10 years down the road? That's just one little spiel. Most of the time I run out of time, and I have to just push it to the next day. 6 a.m. again, right? There's lots of things, right?
When do you see your family and all this? When do you spend time with your kids and your wife?
That's 12 o'clock. I mean, it's like it's just my whole thing. It's about the same as somebody else. I just start my day at 5:30. Everybody else barely makes it to work by 9. I need those 4 extra hours. So all that stuff I just said, that takes about 4 to 5 hours. So I go grab that. I go get that back in the morning, right? So 12, 1 o'clock, cool. Sometimes I'll have, and now I move into the Konnect and the Kollective workflow, right? I mean, I do it all at the same time. I'm just kind of giving you kind of a general breakdown. Making sure, we're being as strategic as possible with the Konnect as far as post, when we post, when's going to be our next merch drop, what shoes do we want to bring in, what shoes are going to attract people the most and are going to sell, marketing strategies to, help people understand where we're at. That's the biggest thing right now with the new business is some people just don't know where you're at, right? So they don't come. And we're not in the best spot for foot traffic. We're on South Congress, probably in the biggest and best parking lot in downtown, but people just don't know. So I'm planning out right now to have like a block party for South Congress. Pretty much invite all the companies around the block, like, Hermes, Soho House, Two Hands, Joann's Foods, Arlen, Aloe, Forward, Sun Life Organics, all those spots to come and, almost like a community vibe, right, where everybody comes together, and at the same time, word of mouth type of marketing as far as when it spreads through the city. So yeah, Konnect, and then Kollective, I pretty much do, the creative director work on that. We're actually going to open up a new gym, North location near the Domain, and then we are going to do Kollective Nashville, probably next year, I assume. So getting that rolled out. Like I said, you just can't waste a second. Hear me out. The family's going to come into play. So every other day, my whole family will come up here. So my kids will be pulling my eyeballs out while I'm in a meeting, or I'll be holding my son while I'm, designing a merch drop or whatever. I won't sacrifice that. I learned that from Drew Brees. He, to be a great quarterback, what did I tell you earlier on the pod, that you have to make sacrifices. So what he would do is, if he's going to stay at the facility till 10, he's going to have his family come up there, and his boys. I've seen them jump in the cold pools, hot tubs, tackling dummies out on the turf field. But he's going to get his work in. So I do the same model. I bring my family up here all the time, and I don't give a damn who thinks they can.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the word is. If people get flustered, or they're like, why do you have your kids up here? Like, I don't give a damn what anybody thinks, because I'm not going to sacrifice that time, because I'm already sacrificing so much time to make everybody's life around me easy. When I bring my family up here, there shouldn't be a discussion. Like, I don't even want to hear it, right? So yeah, I'll bring them up every other day, but if I don't, I'll be home by 6 o'clock, 6:30. If I get home at 7, that's like kind of like, I'm going to get cussed out for sure. Slapped in the back of the head by the wifey.
It's because she loves you, man. She just wants to see you more, right? That's all it is.
But yeah, though, like, as far as I'm concerned, nobody's even awake by the time when I start my work anyway, so don't even count those hours. So most of the time, my boys are in pretty much every sport imaginable. So I'll leave here. I'll drive 45 minutes to an hour to a practice, and I'll coach my son flag football team. And as detailed and serious as I am right now, do the same thing with him. But that's a lot of physical and emotional energy that gets spent just doing that in general, because you're also trying to be a father and raise a young man to be a good person in a world that's pulling you the other way, just because of the social media and the things that you can see now I just didn't see as a kid. So the comparisons, the insecurities, and the access to those things makes it harder as a kid to grow up with the same values I did growing up with. Pretty much all I knew was my what's right in front of me, because internet. But yeah, do that, and then I'll get home at 8:30, 9. We'll throw on a little Stranger Things, like we did last week with the wife. Lights out, boom. Wake up,
there you go.
Do it again. Every single day.
And there's a smile on your face. There's a smile on your face when you say it. That's the important part.
Only thing I'm missing is I used to stream and game. So that, and I'm going to get back to that as these sponsors start slowing down, because you can only have so many sponsors, right? Otherwise, they start, conflicting and overlapping, and then you get your breaching of contract. There'll be like a 3-4 hour period in there that I'll get to get back to my roots, the gamer side of me, the foundation this whole company's built on, right? Being a gamer first, and I just had to make that sacrifice now, so later, I can have more time to do the things that got us here. So that is the breakdown of my day.
That's a good day, man. That is incredible. You're using every second, right? I think, again, I say it at the end of every episode. I'll say it right now. Time's the only thing we don't get more of.
Oh, yeah.
It's the only thing. You'll make more money. That's
you
easy.
Say that every time?
Every single day, man.
So
every single time.
That's
End of every episode, I say it. So I truly believe it. I think it's extremely important. I feel like people don't take their time serious enough. And it sounds like you are, as you said, using every single second to the point where you're making more seconds by waking up early.
Yeah,
right?
and it's just as you get older, time starts, especially if you have kids, time starts moving faster. There's just, I don't know, I got this weird feeling that my life's just now starting. I guess because you play sports, it's almost like you get to reset, and not everybody gets to feel that way, because their mind, my mind got to actually reset. I got to reset the computer, right? Because I've only worried, thought, cared about everything I did on the field, or how is it going to affect me being on the field. And now there's so many other things that I get to think about that I'm living a new life. And just like with anything, when it's new, it's fun. It's the honeymoon phase, right? So right now I'm in that phase, and then I'm gonna stay locked in. I know it because my mindset is the way it is. But that's part of the reason why you get the euphoria and how fun it is, and happy I am from doing all this, because I'm starting over and I enjoy that.
And I think that's the perspective that you have is really important, right? Because so many people, once their career is over, they hit depression, and it's really bad.
Whether you have money or not. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like that part is what it is. It's nice to have the money, but if you don't have it, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And you're at least looking at it from the perspective of I get to do it all again, just in a different industry and just in a different way. And you're clearly taking huge advantage of it. So I love to hear it, man.
Yeah. I was always just so much more than an athlete, and to get to where I was as an athlete, I had to forget those things. And it just is what it is. Everybody knows that. Even at the combine, I remember if guys say they're interested in anything but sports, it's like a red flag. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. And sometimes it is a red flag. Guys are more they don't love the game, because you have to love it to be a pro. Just like in esports, you have to love the game to be a pro, like in gaming and in regular sports. And you definitely have to love the game if you want to be a great player and you really care. Because those
gotta
sacrifices,
love the game business too.
You gotta love it. If you want to be a good CEO, if you want to be a good employee, I don't give a damn if you're a janitor. If you want to be the top of the top, you gotta love it. That's the start. That's just the bare minimum. Mm-hmm. You gotta love it. If you want to be great at anything, and then the rest is on you to figure out. But
incredible.
If you got that, you're good.
You got that. You're good. Kenny, this has been great. We're way over time, so I do apologize.
I told you I'll get going, and we'll get rocking and rolling. So
I love it, dude. Yeah, I feel like we could talk for another hour, but I'm going to let you you have too many. You gave me too many of your seconds, and I sincerely do appreciate that. Man. So thank you so much for this. Kenny Vaccaro, former Texas Longhorn, NFL Safety, CEO of the Esports team, G1, owner of a fashion boutique in Austin, Texas, Konnect Gym Kollective, right?
Yep,
Did I get
Kollective.
that? All right.
Yep, all in
Look
one.
at you.
Yep.
All in one, man. Doing a lot of stuff.
Spot.
I love it. Where can people find out more information about any of these businesses that you got?
I mean, at G1 Official for Twitter, Instagram. At Konnect ATX for the Konnect, and then at Kollective.inc for the Kollective.
I love it, man. Good
Hopefully
stuff. I'll make sure all that's in the show notes for
yeah.
everybody. But Kenny, this has been absolutely incredible. As I said, time's the only thing you don't get more of. So I appreciate you giving me some of yours. I appreciate
100%.
everyone listening, give me a little bit of theirs. But other than that, man, this has been incredible. Appreciate the time.
Time well spent, brother. All right, man.
Love it. Appreciate it. See you, everybody.
Later.